African Americans. Fair use copyright. Fair use copyright. Family, we done warned y'all 1,000 times. So-called Negroes did come out of West Africa. Those that did, even some that still remain there, are a Shemitic people. It's like reading the Bible in today's time, when Joseph was in Egypt, ruling, second command under Pharaoh. His own brothers, Shemite people. Remember, Genesis 12. That's why I keep connecting in Genesis 15. That's why I keep connecting the Hebrews to their inherited land. Now, y'all can listen to this pseudo information and history. Guess what? It's going to lead you right back to the truth. And the truth is, the Bible is talking about black people, Negro people. And I put that on everything. Fair use copyright, fair use copyright. I want to listen to this. A sister that was, she know we God chosen people, but they never, hold on. And I'm going to use this video for a teaching moment. I'm not against us. Even though you had a lot of our brothers and sisters talking about the Bible, like, it's the white man's book. No. But what they're learning is, as they're going back to do their research, I'm not there. I don't know. But I can tell you from what I learned in my journey and my continued journey to research to know these things, right? Research out I want to research out the truth. I want to know. It's fun. It gives you hope and a joy, especially for us. Now, the others might not like it, but hey, you're going to be all right. Trust me, they're going to follow us wherever we go. I'm not denying the truth for none of this world, pseudo politics and all that. No. Y'all can have that. Keep fighting for Democrats and Republicans all you want. I'm fighting for the truth to come out, and that's what I'm standing on the front line for. Because that's what's going to bring our people together. I don't got nothing against us, but here's an example of a person that I've listened to for years and subscribed to and still follow. I don't got nothing against them. But I understand our connection to Africa and I understand how powerful. This is a testament to really how powerful Africa is. And when you'll see the maps, I got these maps. They're talking about real maps. They're talking about who God's people truly are, the Hebrew people. That's us, and it's telling you through His Word what will happen to them. Now we have to fast forward and come into it. That's our power. That's how we're gonna come up, overcome in the world, family. It's time. We need that. We need to get into that. Let's hear what sis got to say. Fair use copyright. Fair use copyright. I want to share this. Use this for a teaching moment. For all you Bible rejectors. And the Bible, the white man didn't write the Bible. He translated it. Remember, Genesis 46, God told Jacob to go into Africa. And there I will make of you a great nation. It's something special about Africa. I don't know why y'all keep looking past it. You getting the natural resources of the milk and honey that He promises people out of it every day, but you don't see His greatness. Man, stop playing. We're going to change that narrative. I'm making them shirts. Negroland, west coast of Africa, on everything with the African map on there. I'm going to start making them t-shirts to represent what was their calligraphers who went out and recorded this information for them to know. Those who recorded their history, I could trust. You think they was going back to them people telling them, oh, the Jews are in West Africa and they was lying? No, they depended on those maps. They built institutions off that information. They built a whole civilization off that information when they got a hold of us and our land and its resources. Why? Well, you're gonna have to read your Bible and find out. You ain't gonna get it in no other place. Ain't nobody else got this information. You're gonna have to hunker down and start researching words and really know the meaning, the etymology, the root origin of what they mean, family. From the Bible to all this pseudo information, talking about schools and all that. Trump may have did you a favor. I'll tell you the truth. We rewriting history with the truth of God's word. That's gonna stand forever. It's time to wake up.
And more. I know over the years I've spoken about the 1500s map.
Yes,
that's called the African Tabla. And in this map, we've seen a lot of exposure there as well. And recently, I brought you some maps from some of our brothers, from Caucasian as well, attesting to the fact that it's not just coincidence that we have geographies that tally with geographies in the Bible. It's not coincidence that we have geographies that tally with geographies in the Bible or in holy books, ancient texts and tablets. It's not coincidence. And for this to happen, it's because...
Exactly. And that part I'm going to reiterate. When those Europeans stepped foot in Africa and began to write Negroeland, the kingdom of Judah, you could see as when they first did it, and as time went on, as they started changing the description of it. But they never changed who the people were. They stopped putting that on the maps, but there's so many that were before that. It continues. They stopped using the name Judah and they will use like Latin names. I got them all written down. It's on all the maps. But you can see as time gradually grows, we're coming in closer into now times as they begin to change the names. It's deep, family. It's deeper than you. I'm telling you, we the people. It's time to repent and return. That's how we gonna overcome. They did not use no bogus maps. Know that part.
You can't tell me that this was how it was, and now it is not, or it's been erased. Anyway, I want us to listen to our brothers say something, and then we continue.
Look at this. A map from the 1700s of the west coast of Africa. Look what it say. Why?
Yeah, I got them maps.
Is it saying Jews everywhere? Why?
Yeah, because they've been hiding shit.
And now
the preachers is with it. You can't trust your preacher neither.
I want us to listen to
real talk. This why.
And then we'll continue.
Look at this. A map from the 1700s of the west coast of Africa.
Hold on, because I got that map. I want to blow it up for you. I got that map. Look at that. Jews and Philosophists, Moorish and Negro Jews. All these areas, the Ashantis, Dahomey. So when Ashan, the people of Ghana telling you Jewish, that they are Jewish kingdom. The children of Israel, them people ain't lying. I gotta find that name, but yeah, this area, Negroeland, Nigeria. These are Jews, Liberians. We formed that land. Okay, this was in AD. Yemen, Jewish. Stop. Jewish kingdoms all out through Africa. Stop playing. That's where I'm going with it. This is gonna make my star rise. I'm rocking my crown. I'm not putting mine down for you chumps and liars. Better rock your crown, Judah. Listen to them preachers if you want to.
Is it saying Jews everywhere? Why does it say the kingdom of Judah on the west coast of Africa? Why? Why? Why does it say Jews? Why? Why does it say Jews in Ghana? Why? Why does it say Jews?
And today we got people arguing to like, well, them people, okay, we know everybody might not be, but there's a remnant in there. They ain't just disappeared. Come on.
In Nigeria. Why?
You know I'm gonna stand up for Nigeria because that's what my DNA go back to. Kingdom of Negroland. Stop playing.
Why? We not the Jews, right?
We are.
That's what y'all saying, right? We not the Jews. Well, why does this map that they tried to get rid of say we are the Jews? And this is an old ancient map. Why? Somebody tell me, man. Why? Why does it say Kingdom of Judah? Jew is short for Judah. If we came from the west coast of Africa and the Jews came from the west coast of Africa, from the kingdom of Judah, then who are we? Somebody answer that question for me, man.
See what it says on this 1588 map.
There's another one.
1588 Africa Tabula.
I
Let's
got
go
it.
down to where
Negroland. I'm gonna bring my maps
we
up.
have- Let's point out some of the areas here. This is written in Latin, as you can see, by the way.
Yeah.
So you hear
Judeo-Rum Terra.
Jalufa, the land of
Kingdom of Judah.
the Jalus or the Walus. We have Guinea. We have Benin, and this is in Latin.
It's Negroland.
Benin's reign or their kingdom of Benin. But now let's go over to this area that was
Judeo-Rum Terra.
This area here.
That's Kingdom of Judah, family. That's Latin. That's the Roman. Judeo-Rum.
We have this area known as
Judeo-Rum Terra. Judeo-Rum Terra. Let me shut up.
Judeo-Rum Terra.
Judeo-Rum Terra. Kingdom of Judah.
So what does this mean? Let's translate that. Look what it says.
Look it up. Judeo-Rum Terra. I done did 50 videos on it. There it is. In the English is J. In the Latin is I. Judeo-Rum Terra.
That's what this means. The land of the Jews.
See why I'm talking about the Bible every day?
It's deep. Every time I look at this, man, I get so emotional.
I get super excited. Let me go check on my food before I burn it.
And there it is. In the year
Judeo-Rum Terra.
1500s.
Judeo-Rum, that's a J. The V is a U.
Steep.
Judeo.
Steep, Francis.
That's supposed to be an A.
It's
R-U-M.
right there.
Judeo-Rum Terra. Judea. They spell it with an O. You Google it today.
And you know what else is?
Black people are the Jews. Jew is short for what? Judah. Yeah. It's on all the maps, family. Can't make this up.
Right there in Central Africa. Here's all over here would be where, as you can see on here, this would be where Nigeria, Benin,
Kingdom of
Ghana,
Judah.
Sierra Leone, all those areas. But then when you come down to this curve, here you're right in the same area. And look at that, Congo. And this is where many of the enslaved were taken from their villages, put on the slave ships.
Many women over 50 who try Tai Chi give up too soon because nobody showed them how to do it right. And that's exactly why mornings still feel slow. Movement feels harder, and you never quite feel like yourself. This Monday, July 6th, we're starting Tai Chi for beginners over 50, just 10 minutes a day. If you need to lose that cortisol belly, do these 5 Tai Chi moves every morning for 2 minutes each.
I'm 62, and today I'm done with the gym, starting Tai Chi.
Majesties, kings and queens, that's deep. This remains fresh in my head. Whenever I go through this, there is this feeling that I have. So it's always new. It's not, I don't know if you get this feeling where you go through something over and over again, and every time you go through it, it's still fresh, it's still new. It seems like, wow. Maybe because all the while we grew up, we were told that we cannot be godly, we're not good people. The good ones are the Europeans. And growing up and beginning to have these discoveries and exposures, maybe, just maybe.
People lie.
And this is coming from a European, by the way, for Africans who might be having some doubt. Because a good number of Africans do not like believing fellow African. They prefer believing a white person, because when it's coming from a white person, according to them, that's 100%. That's accurate. That's fact. So their own black brothers and sisters cannot tell them fact. See? It's unfortunate, but these are the things that we face by day. These are the things that we face by day. And then for some who might be always saying that these maps are maps that were put together by the same Europeans, how sure are we that they are telling us the facts? This is the reason why you should know that these are facts. Okay? Because if it's a black person who produced this map, it would be like you just want to glorify yourself. When they were doing these things, this is a 1500 map. Okay? We have 1500, 1400, 1700, 1800. This is a 1500 map. So the idea of wanting to act the way they act today is not so intense at that time. So the idea of saying, okay, I'm going to hide this. They never even busy themselves with these children of God and the rest of all these things that time now. It was later on that it became a tool of control more, when religion became so organized, See? So they were not busying themselves. These are explorers that were just paid by kings to go explore Africa and bring back what they find in Africa, so that they can prepare themselves to come invade for possible takeover. Remember, Berlin Conference was when? 1884-85. So before the Berlin Conference, these cartographers had moved around countries in Africa and gotten idea of how the continent is. This was how they were able to plan whatever it is that they planned to take over Africa. This was why they got so interested even in the first place, so interested that they were able to gang up and then come to divide the continent amongst themselves.
It was written in the Bible that you will go through these things. The descendants of the Hebrew. That's why I stick to the Bible. Men lie, women lie, but God can never lie, family. Put your faith in the Most High. Never.
Even when they were having plans to make Uganda a possible home for the Jews, and there were other places in the continent that was also proposed. It was later. So when we're talking about these older maps, they were not having the thought of any religious manipulation or spiritual manipulation at that time. No, religious manipulation at that time. They were only looking for possible geographies that are of significance.
They weren't going to come over in Uganda. Yeah, I remember they said a few countries. But guess what had happened? What would have happened if these Ashkenazi people would have went over there in Africa and claimed that part of that was the land? In essence, really claiming the truth. you would have woke that whole continent up. They couldn't chance that, family. Think about it. It's common sense. You know, we ain't took. Look, they argued this thing from day one. No, 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 no. Now all of a sudden, y'all got all these $1 million books. Y'all got all these maps where, you know, their kings sent out to learn this information, and they created the maps and books. Now all of a sudden it's a lie. No, black people, wake y'all ass up. That's the problem. You gotta wake up. Shit. And they don't gotta explain nothing to me. I know better now. Now it's time to adjust, family. I need my crown back. Put my crown back on. You dig? It's on.
Okay, that was what they sent in these cartographers. And these cartographers came in and gave documentation of how the place was. A genuine documentation of the continent. And that's why there's no way you look into any older map and you won't see the land of the Jews or the Jews. There is no way. Or Judah, there is no way. Any older map of Africa you see have that. So,
exactly, and they made the maps. And I'm glad you brought that out, sis. I'm glad you have the patience of Job. Because why? That's even for our brothers and sisters talking about America is our promised land. No, it ain't. Only reason you was kicked out of your promised land because of the disobedience. We don't need America. Just like King Hezekiah said, we need Canaan, family. We don't need America. That ain't your promised land. You better wake up. Ain't no milk and honey over here. They need Africa to survive. You better wake up.
now what happened to the recent maps that we have? The names of places in the continent were deliberately changed. Sometimes they add some letter or they change letters just to make it sound odd. All of these things, they did it deliberately and they got these ideas from these older maps that they laid their hand on. You see, we should be grateful even that we're in the age of internet where most of these things cannot be hidden anymore. But the only thing that they do now is to erase them from the internet. And that is why when you get hold of any information, it's better you get a drive and save it in. Because there is mass delete right now from the internet, especially ancient artifacts, sculptures, paintings, and pictures. There is mass delete right now. All right, I'm here for you. I'm here to do the research and then show you the way to do your own researches. All right, into getting to know this truth for ourselves and, of course, for the Black community worldwide. Remember that I love you all, love yourself, love others, stay safe, stay positive always, your mother stays.
No, Gentiles confession. I took my pictures or you got your pictures, but in fact, Franz Delitzsch, who did the Delitzsch translation of the New Testament, he was contemporary with Claudius Buchanan, who did the final translation of the materials. He recopied everything. Beautiful job by David Cohen, the scribe. But
so help me out. So the ones, so what did Buchanan copy? He copied the ones in
Buchanan discovered them at the synagogue of the Black Jews, Black Jews in Cochin.
Yeah.
And he.
I actually want to share an image of that. It's when I saw this myself in Cambridge. I had a photo, but when you actually see it, it's quite stunning. I'm going to share my screen here if I can successfully do that. And this guy is what it looks like, manuscript 132. Yeah. And since this manuscript was found in one of the synagogues of the Black Jews of Cochin in India by the Reverend Claudius Buchanan in the year 1806. And Buchanan went several times. There's also a Torah scroll and an Esther scroll and other things that have a very similar label on them. And what he means by the Black Jews is there were multiple Jewish communities in the Malabar coast, or I think it's called the Kerala coast of western southwestern India.
Province, Malabar coast in Kerala.
Okay. And so he went there multiple times, and he somehow got his hands on manuscripts from there. And he, I think there's an implication here that this must be some ancient document because it came from this, right? In other words, you had Jews that came from Baghdad, and then you had the indigenous Jews who had been there much longer. And even the ones from Baghdad had been there for a few hundred years by the time of Buchanan. And so his assumption seems to have been, or the implication that this is from the indigenous Jews who have been there maybe since the time of Solomon or a very long time, and so it's much older, or potentially a much older source. Would you agree with that?
Well, Franz de Litz wanted to use that as his base manuscript for his translation of the Hebrew Gospels, but the Jewish society he was working for nixed that idea, which actually good idea really, but they wanted it translated from the Greek. So that's the controversy we have now over these.
Okay.
And it's really a fascinating story actually, because it's just, and then Masha did that excellent research in the
Masha van Dort.
Masha van Dort, right? Who was a descendant of Leopold van
So
Dort.
she's not. So when I interviewed her, that was one of my first questions. So let's talk about your descendant. And we actually had a technical difficulty, so I had to re-record it. You asked before about me being concerned about the recording getting lost. That actually we had an issue there. But so I said, let's talk about your descendant. And she's like, no, he's not my descendant. What happened is she was contacted by Professor Meir Bar-Ilan of Bar-Ilan University. And you're like, wait, the guy's name is Bar-Ilan? Yes, his grandfather or something like that founded the university.
Anti-diabetes trick used before bed is making diabetics wake up with normal blood sugar. If you try this and your blood sugar doesn't drop at least 70 points within the next few hours, I'll send you $1,000 in cash. A lot of people missed the episode where Dr. Phil shared this 15-second native trick that lowers A1C in a matter of hours. So this is the last time I'm going to talk about it. 9 out of 10 Americans have type 2 diabetes, but less than 1% know it. Contrary to what many people say, the real cause of type 2 diabetes has nothing to do with sugar, and even less with the carbs you eat. A study conducted by Stanford University proved that type 2 is caused by a 3-centimeter parasite that attaches itself to the pancreas, draining the beta cells responsible for insulin production. Want a quick test to see if you have it? This blue parasite causes stubborn belly fat, excessive hunger, frequent urination, and tingling in your hands and feet. And here's the thing. These aren't symptoms of type 2, like most people think. They're symptoms of this silent parasite. But here's the good news. A group of Japanese researchers discovered a quick trick made with 3 ingredients that can eliminate this parasite from your body in less than 3 minutes. Within just a few hours, you'll already notice a significant drop in your A1C levels. And after a few days, they'll never rise above 4% again. And the best part? All of this without dieting, without exercise, and without relying on dangerous medications like metformin, insulin injections, or even glyphage. All you have to do is drink a glass of this simple recipe before going to bed. That's it. When you wake up, your blood sugar levels will have dropped by at least 40 points. If that doesn't happen for you, I'll send you $1,000. Deal? Now pay very close attention. I saved the episode where Dr. Phil reveals this 15-second trick and uploaded it to a 100% free website. Just click the button below and watch it while it's still available. And remember, this has nothing to do with prescription drugs, restrictive diets, or exhausting lifestyle changes.
What you talking about,
Ever
Doc?
since this recipe went viral, a lot of people have gotten nervous, and those who profit from...
What are you talking about, y'all? It's time to wake up. Wake up, Jacob. The Bible is telling us a whole lot of speaking. Wake up. White people waking up. The system they built is crumbling. Wow. Anyway, shalom, peace, and